What if you could help others to find the power to heal themselves? Physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
When I started teaching my classes, it was in 2002, and I was just doing the past life regressions and contacting the subconscious part. But then as the time went on and we found how powerful this was and what we could do with it, a lot of the students began saying, you know, advanced past life regression doesn't really tell what it's all about. This is so much more than that. We think you should change the name. So it was a few years ago we decided to change the name to Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And this is the healing technique that we've now been teaching it, well, since 2002, that's 12 years.
What if you could time travel with them? Visit mythical places or angelic realms, other worlds, other galaxies. Help others to speak to their higher selves. You can. Dolores has taught thousands of people from across the world how to use QHHT, and now you can learn her method by going directly to dolorescannon.com. And don't forget to mention the discount code MORETALKS.
Established over 100 years ago, Watkins Books is one of the world's oldest and leading independent bookshops specializing in esoterica. We have the widest selection of esoteric books in the UK, and our friendly and knowledgeable staff are here to assist you in a unique ambience of our shop. So come and visit us in the heart of London as we're open every day.
The comments and views expressed on The More Show are those of the people that make them and do not necessarily reflect the view of Kevin Moore, The More Show, or this radio station and its affiliate or sponsors. This show is for entertainment purposes only.
Broadcasting from the UK and across the world online. You're now watching the UK's only alternative late night talk show, and I'm your host, Kevin Moore. For the next hour, I'll be covering subjects that will open up your mind and provide you with information you may have never heard before. On today's show, I'm joined with Brenda Lainof, whose holistic practice combines Eastern and Western approaches to uncover the root cause, emotional components which contribute to finances, unhealthy work, and personal relationships. Getting at the core beliefs associated with pain, addictions, trauma, anxiety, depression, and much more are Brenda's expertise. Now, she uses her intuitive abilities as a life coach and healer, working with a magnitude of healing modalities to help people permanently release all belief systems, patterns of behavior which no longer serve them. Brenda works with clients worldwide via Skype or phone. Brenda Lainof, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm really pleased to be here today with you. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you very much for making the time today to do this interview. I appreciate that as well. Now, normally we get most of my guests coming on. They've got a book or two out. This interview is going to be a little bit different because obviously I haven't had a book to read, and I don't really know a great deal about you. But I do know some interesting facts, which I think we're gonna really home in on as well, which was a bit of a surprise to me about yourself. Now, you've had a near-death experience. Now, before we get to that near-death experience, let's just look at Brenda prior to that experience. What were you doing? Where was the career? And just lead us into that near-death experience.
Okay. Well, previous to near-death experience, I was working in the corporate oil and gas industry in Alberta, Canada, a very lucrative business. And I was making good money. I was able to provide for my family, and have a nice lifestyle, do some international traveling, worked in several countries of the world. But I was really going through a lot of turmoil, and I didn't realize till much later that I'm really an empath. And if anybody knows what an empath is that you can pick up on energies of other people, and it can be very, very detrimental. So through the process of working in the industry and able to, again, to provide a nice living with my husband, having several homes in the world, in Canada and the US, I was really falling apart physically. And I kept getting nudges from God, Brenda, step into the healing work. And I never did completely, because I thought, I can't leave this job behind. And it was finally, it was that one situation that I had to get my ovary checked on to see if it was cancerous. My mother had died of cancer. Her mother had died of cancer. And I thought, I really don't want to look at this, but okay, here we go again, another surgery. So I went in for my, quote, daytime surgery as an outpatient. And as soon as I went under, I went into a cardiac arrest. So I was told that it took two cardiologists that just came flying in to bring my heart back to normal. I didn't understand and realize that. And when I woke up, the nurse said, Brenda, do you know what happened? And of course, I'm dazed and confused, and it's like, no, you've had a cardiac arrest and we're moving you into the cardiac unit. So I was moved into the cardiac unit. It was all a blur. And it was so interesting, because through all the chaos and confusion, I remember looking at the wall. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and this lady is standing beside me, and she's almost like she's apologizing that, Brenda, this wasn't supposed to happen. And she was so sweet and so nice. And when I came into the unit, they were so nice. Later that day, actually the next morning, everybody was very cool and distant. They were really scared because I reacted under anesthesia. And that lady that appeared and who had a very angelic feel to her, she was gone. And it was like, my gosh, what has happened? So as my heart had really changed forever, it just wasn't on a physical level, but on an emotional level, and spiritual, on all levels that you can imagine. And it was interesting, Kevin, because I was living on an acreage outside of Calgary, Alberta, towards the Rocky Mountains, a beautiful area. And I was outside that day, and I was actually feeding our animals that were in the corral behind our house. And I had a moose charge me, and I had no fear. Now, if anybody can imagine the size of a moose, it's not something that you take lightly. But I had changed so much from that cardiac arrest. Honestly, I was so fearless. It was like, how dare you? How dare you chase me? Now, these are really big, majestic animals. And, it happened a second time. I came out the second time. It was crazy, and maybe very crazy on my part to do that. But again, I was very fearless. So that was an example how my heart had changed forever. And then I stepped into my work doing this full time. I got out of the oil and gas industry. And as many people in the world probably know, it's kind of very volatile area to be in. And there's a lot of political implications to it. So it was time to get out and really do what I'm doing now, which I love to do.
Okay, so firstly, when you say that you were getting nudges from God, what do you mean by that?
Well, it was like, Brenda, through all the health issues that I had, step into this. Like, I felt it. You just feel that intuition. You hear that voice and you discount it. And you discount it. I can't do this. I have to make money. I have to support my family. I can't do what I'm supposed to be doing on earth. And we all get those nudges, it's that intuition. And it's that little voice that comes in at times. Could be, well, you're kind of in a meditative state. A lot of times I get messages just when I'm, just having a shower and I'm just getting ready for the day and just opening up my chakras and just clearing. That's when I get my inspiration. So if people make real note, keep track of that. Like, when is it that you get your message and you just know? You know intuitively, in your heart, you're being guided. And it's like, okay, maybe I need to listen to this. I wasn't even listening. So God was like, okay, Brenda, endometriosis, Brenda, rheumatoid arthritis, Brenda, it was one thing after the other. And it was like, okay, you're not listening? Here we go. Here comes the cardiac arrest. And amazingly enough, I had no brain damage. That was about the time Michael Jackson had passed away. That was prior, maybe a year prior to that. But I had no brain damage. I mean, honestly, it was amazing. Now, I do not remember hovering above my body, or, how people explain near death and they can have all these experiences. I do not remember anything. I came back, and like I was saying, I was so full of courage. Honestly, I really was. And I thought, okay, that's it. I'm going to step into what I'm doing now. And I want to share that with people because I love to teach. And I want to help people feel what I felt, and to really step into their own power. Because we have to. We're at a time where we're feeling so powerless. There's, so much chaos going on. And I know that the UK has gone through a lot of chaos in itself. And, it's continual. It's just, so how do we take control? And there's many ways that we can do that. And I love to work with people as to their heart wall. That's one of the many things I love to do, because it's so profound. When you break it down, how much lighter you feel. And it affects you in so many different ways, on a physical level, emotional, spiritual, psychological, psycho level, at every single level you can imagine. It's very powerful work.
Absolutely. And just going back to your near-death experience then. Okay, so you could say that these nudges were then almost like, downloads in a sense. You just knew. It wasn't sort of whisper, was it? Sort of whispered voice? Was it your voice?
I think people wonder about that. It just comes. It's just, this is what you need to do. When I was laying in the bed and I am really feeling, very powerless. I'm hooked up to machines and, IVs. I got my little white gown on and, I'm extremely vulnerable, very fatigued. I honestly felt like this energy of a bear just kind of pounced into my heart. And I know that maybe might sound a little crazy or whatever, but it was that energy. If you can think of a bear, it was like whoosh, like, I'm done. I am done with this. And I thought, okay, this has happened. I have nothing to lose at this point in time. And it took that cardiac arrest to really step in. And I'm continually stepping in. I mean, that wasn't the end, but, God's still showing me ways. For example, I had Bell palsy within the last 2 months. I healed it within 13 days. And I did a set of videos to show people. I thought, oh my gosh, now I've had the cardiac arrest. Half of my face is paralyzed. I am scared to death. I thought, Brenda, don't hide out. So I didn't. So I thought, I'm going to put this on YouTube. I mean, people can see I'm not making this up. And I am looking like hell, and it was through the healing work of so much healing work. And it was like I had a breakthrough moment at 3 a.m., but coincidentally, or maybe not, I had this, just this healing act at 3 a.m. in the morning. And then my body just thought, I'll tell you, I quickly healed after that. So I know the miracle of healing emotions and how that can affect us physically, and it can happen quickly, as it did with me with my Bell's palsy.
Now, again, going back to your near-death experience, so as you've said, you never went through a tunnel of light when you had your cardiac arrest, as far as you
No.
understand. This experience happened when you came to, when you came conscious again. And this experience of this lady, or as you would call it,
Yes.
lady, this was when you was on your own, many hours after the cardiac arrest, when you were back in some sort of recovery somewhere, and then this figure appeared. Okay, but you would say that your near-death experience continued up to that point. That was part of your near-death experience, that figure appearing. Could you say that?
I don't know. I've never had that experience before. Perhaps. I haven't studied a lot of near-death experience. I find it fascinating. This lady, she had a very angelic feel to her, like so kind. And I felt so at peace. And then it was just like swoosh, the next day, like I had mentioned, everything changed on a dime.
So okay.
It was very,
Yep.
very comforting.
Absolutely. So the person that you are, that you were directly after that experience, you'd say you would say change had taken place instantaneously. Would you?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd love to be able to say, okay, I was looking down on my body, and as, many people experience in the near-death experience, I have no memory of that. And I don't know if it was because I was on anesthesia, but I did change, absolutely. And I was gone. It took them 20 minutes to bring me back, my heart back to normal. So I was gone. There's no two ways about that. So yes, I did change afterwards, and I'm feeling so much stronger now. Man, it just has changed me absolutely forever. So again, I'm really constantly challenging myself and just stepping into my power. I love it.
Did you have
I
any?
love where I'm at right now.
Yeah, well, yeah. Did you have any sort of psychic abilities as well after this event took place?
I'm way more intuitive or psychic, I guess, if you want to call it that as well, than I was before. So definitely, when I work with my clients, I'm very gifted when it comes to pulling in information and images and what I see. And so I would say yes, I'm definitely more psychic since I had my near death than prior. And definitely more aware of it and accepting of it. I think before I was psychic, but I blocked it out because, who knows, for many different reasons, how you can just deny who you really truly are because it doesn't feel comfortable.
What did your husband think of the story that you told him, that you're telling us now, of this lady?
Well, he was there. He was there. He had the gynecologist who came in tell him exactly what happened. Oh, he was scared. I mean, he was very, very scared. It was like how his life is going to change forever with, when I'm not there. It was very scary for him. And for myself, it would have been a very easy exit. I think everybody thinks about what does the end of the life look for them. And it would have been very, very peaceful for me.
But it wasn't supposed to be, was it?
No, I have so much to offer, and I say that humbly, but it's true. I work with people. I work with hundreds of people, and I love to get them excited about their path and find those nuggets of gold, that are hiding. And bring them out. Let them shine. Let those nuggets shine. Move into the path that they're supposed to be moving into. We're all here for a reason. And I know why I'm here. And everybody, everybody's searching. And, there's people that know what that is. And there's other people that are searching. And it's a continual search. When I say everybody's searching, I think we're on a continual quest. It's never ending. So many of the people that I work with have had cancer. And when you discover what's holding them, what the heart is holding those emotions and blockages, and you can unlock that, it then gives them hope. And when you're given hope, because you're able to unravel the history and unravel the events, and then it's like, okay, that's what it is. That's the trauma that preceded perhaps the cancer, and then it brings everything to the light, and people are so much easy. It's easier for people to heal because now they can put their finger on it and they can say yes. That's definitely something that occurred for me, and that's something I need to look at, and it gives people hope. And when you give people hope, and also as a medical intuitive, that increases their pH level. You get more in an alkaline level, so you're getting rid of those acidic thoughts and emotions and beliefs. So that's what I go into as an intuitive. I go into what is blocking you from moving ahead in life, and financially, in your health. And we can all do this. It's not for the few, because I love to teach. And it's just like everybody can learn simple methods and start working on yourself. That's really true empowerment. It's just not for me to start working on somebody and then they're on their own. I mean, nobody wants that. You want to be able to take charge. You want to be able to take charge of your own life. And if you don't, then I'm not the right person to be with. But if you're excited about growing and clearing your own issues that are trapped in, around your heart, then I love to teach that and get the person excited and moving ahead. Okay. It's all very interesting work.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, okay, so what type of people are coming to you then? Who are you attracting?
Well, a whole range. I have over 30 years corporate experience. So I have been working with individuals who have been laid off, been fired. I've been through it. I've been on disability. I've been through it because of work-related issues. So there's the whole of people who are working in the business world, and then also people with just strictly health issues. So it's at the full spectrum because I've been there, done that. And I bring in my experience, my life experience into play for the individual session. So it's whatever is really bothering you. Perhaps you've had a recent breakup. Perhaps you're affected by what's just happened within your own country. Perhaps you're picking up on issues from other people and you don't realize it. We can go in and do the work. What I find is so essential, and honestly, I've just been doing this recently because I was having a hard time working on myself. And now I realize, Brenda, the first thing you need to do, and for absolutely everybody, is look at any offensive energies. So once you have your shield up, or however you want to protect yourself, you need to check if there's any entities, if there's any curses, if there's any saboteur energies, if there's any negative cording, and get that clear. I can just tell you today, Kevin, right this morning, I just thought, I'm not feeling right. I'm just not feeling kind of off, and I know I need to check. I know from my recent session with another person who worked with me, I need to work on me so that I'm good for this show. I'm good for my clients. So I determined and I muscle tested that I had, I believe it was 2 entities. And that can come in when you're sleeping. It can come in when you're walking in the park, when maybe your guard's down and you're in this beautiful park. You don't know, but they're for real. They happen. And as soon as you release all of those obstructions, then you can step into the work. Then you can start looking as to your own heart wall emotions and clear them. But it's essential to do that, or else you may not be getting the right answer. So that is something I am so pro on, and I encourage people to learn how to do that. So when I'm muscle testing, I work with the client on Skype. So if you've never heard of muscle testing, it's a type of kinesiology. And I work with the person and teach them how to do it. There's various ways, and I guarantee you, absolutely, in my sessions, I'll get you muscle testing. Because if there's any blocks in the way where you feel that you can't, I intuit the information. Maybe there is an offensive energy. I'll find out what it is. We'll clear it, get you very, very strong, and then you're working with me on the spot. So let's get clear of any obstructions and then get you working and muscle testing to find out exactly what it is, what's going on, and clear it. And just notice how much lighter you feel for the day. And if you need to do it again that day, do it again that day. We're being bombarded by negative energies. That's just the reality. And we have to keep ourselves as clean vessel as we can. And if it's a matter of having to do that several times a day, then that's what you do. Be very proactive.
Right.
So once I look at the heart wall, and the heart wall was coined by Dr. Bradley Nelson and trapped emotions, and that's who I'm certified and trained under in the US. So I muscle test for these emotions. Now, emotions come into the body typically about the size of a, say, cantaloupe or a baseball. So it's an energy that comes in, and unless we release it, it can create chaos, havoc, inflammation, congestion, confusion, all of these things. So it can come in and go to any particular part of the body. So if we're looking as to the heart wall is composed of over 60 emotions, and 60 is the minimum number. But through process of muscle testing, which I teach, we can find out exactly what emotions are creating issues in your body. Now, emotions come in, and they can come in within any time between birth and your age. You can pick them up from other people and absorb them, and I see this a lot in breast cancer. Or you can inherit it. It can come in your mother's womb, first, second, third trimester, or it could be a preconception. So if it's a preconception, then I intuit, what is it? Find out where that came from, and then we're working together. So when we're muscle testing, you know exactly what the yes is and what the no is. So we're working together, and you can feel it. And when you do it this way, it works really, really well. For the most part, we're coming up with exactly the same answer. So it's very empowering work.
Okay, I'm kind of with you. I was with you up to the point in the sense of attachments. I find that absolutely fascinating, that how that can drain us and, change our personality in a sense, and how, we can get rid of those attachments maybe by just putting some light around us, or some light, and just asking that for anything that is attached to us to sort of, to go in a sense. And I think
Yes.
attachment's much more common than probably what we give credit for in that field. But I think in regards to the rest of your work, in regards to the heart wall, I think I just lost you there a little bit in the sense of what that process is. I mean, I'm sure if I listen back to the interview, I'll be like, oh no, I get it now. Do you know what I mean? But I think it was just going a bit quick there for me in a sense.
Okay.
So if you want to, I don't want to go over all ground if other people watching this have got it, but I'm just saying I've not got it.
Well, everything is of energy. So the desk, my chair that I'm sitting on, my background, we are all of energy. So sometimes when an energy comes in, and this energy can be so intense that we don't release it. For example, the heartache, that energy may just sort of go towards the heart.
What energy? What energy are we talking about?
We're talking about energy, this invisible energy. And there's this invisible energy as we're talking right now, or invisible energy when a person does prayer. So there's energy that's out there that has been documented. And you know how we can have energy, you can have energy at the tip of your fingers. Or if you had any Reiki type of work, you can feel the heat coming off the hands. There's all energy. So it's been determined through Dr. Bradley Nelson's work that this ball of energy that can come in, and if you can think of chakras, these are all spinning, energy spinning wheels, that energy can come in at any time. So you were talking about being downloaded, that's energy. Protecting yourself, that's all energy. We're surrounded by energy.
Sorry, so your work is about, in regards to that energy, how's that creating a negative effect on us then?
Okay, for example, these trapped emotions that can come in at any time.
Hang on. Sorry, what are trapped emotions? What do you mean?
Trapped emotions are these, it's a coined phrase by Dr. Bradley Nelson. And it's this energy that can come in, again, about the size of a, cantaloupe, baseball, approximately, it's been determined. So when it comes in, it can distort our energy field. And then that's what creates all of the issues. So when you're muscle testing, you can determine exactly what that particular energy is. So for example, the heart, a lot of the emotions that go to the heart is abandonment, betrayal, forlorn, lost, love unreceived, vulnerability, overjoy. Those are some of the emotions that typically go to the heart. I mean, we've all heard of the expression a heartache, and a heart was broken. You can have actual physical issues when you have a heart wall. So when I'm working with someone, they can typically determine what their heart wall is made of. For example, a heart wall, if you were to ask someone, what is your heart wall? We've all been hurt. I mean, every single human being on earth has been hurt at some level. Then we can put up a wall. It's called a heart wall for protection because we don't want to be hurt again. But when we do that because of anything that's happening, and again, this time or a previous time, or picking up on things that are happening within the world, we don't want to be hurt, so we put up a wall. And when you ask them, what is that made of? A lot of the times people can determine, and they can tell you, well, what the material is. Perhaps your heart wall is made out of gray steel. Perhaps your heart wall is made out of bricks. So when people really think about it, they close their eyes and just visualize what that wall is made of, they'll give you exactly what that is. So it's interesting because when you start determining what particular emotion is in that heart wall, and then you go through a process of releasing it, that wall starts breaking down. Now, when I talk about releasing it, we work over a governing meridian. So I'd be working for you as a surrogate. So what we do is take a magnet and place it in between the eyebrow area, over top of the head, over top of the crown of the head, and base of the neck. So any type of magnet will work. You can also use your fingertips, as mentioned before. They're energetic. And you're working over top of the forehead, over top of the crown of the neck. What that does, it's allowing that energy that I've mentioned that comes in to the subconscious is now bringing it to the surface to be released. So every time that a trapped emotion or a heart wall emotion is is discovered, then we go through a process, we work together to release this heart wall emotion. And when you do that, it's the magnet that allows this energy is being allowed to move now to the surface of the skin. Your subconscious has now said, okay, yes, I'm here. I'm ready to be released. So you've discovered what it is, and your subconscious saying yes. So for example, if anyone's ever been abused in any way, physically, sexually, emotionally, in any way, you can ask, well, when did this come in? So I'm muscle testing 0 to 10, 10, 20, 20, 30. As an example, I come up at 20 years of age. So at 20 years of age, because I'm checking with the subconscious. So the subconscious is about 90% and 10% on a conscious level. So I can check in the subconscious, and everybody can learn to do this. When did this come in? So for example, at 20 years of age, there was all this betrayal that came in that's related to the abuse. So then what you do is go through the process again of releasing all that betrayal. And when you do that several times, you just notice how much lighter you feel. And so there are many, many things that can come in to create a wall. And I keep checking in with the client. Okay, tell me, what does it look like now? Is your heart wall still the same material? Has it changed at all in any way, shape, or form? And to inform me, and the client will be able to say, yes, it's changed, or no, it hasn't changed very much. Then you continue with the work. Most times you can clear a heart wall within, 3 or 4 sessions. And then it's up to the person to be proactive. So then they can learn how to keep clearing that heart wall, because of course things happen in life. You can hear about something on the television, all the different trauma that's happening in the world, and it can affect you. So daily, just like in the morning when you do your routine, you check for your heart wall emotions, and then you go through the process of clearing them. And just get on with your day. And if you feel you're picking up from something, maybe you're at a store and you're not feeling good about it, you can go back home again, check, do I have a heart wall emotion, or is this a trapped emotion, and go through the process and then find out when did it come in. Maybe this is something that needs to be healed now. It's being said that we're clearing so much karma for our time, previous times for other people. So we are it's the time now for people that are doing this work and who feel very drawn to the good and helping out other people on earth to step up and learn some skills so that you can work on yourself, work on your family members, work on your animals, and just bring more and more of the light into the world, because we need it.
Okay, well that makes sense to me, absolutely, in the sense of the heart wall, and when you say that we're able to heal our own heart walls as well, I do believe that. I suppose to find out how effective we are by a heart wall, could we go into meditation and just try to sense it, or speak to our higher self through meditation to try to figure this out, how heavy this heart wall is?
I think there's several ways that you could do that, and I think meditation is a nice, obviously a nice thing to do. There's just not one way to do things, but what I like about this type of work is that you're checking with the subconscious, and because it could be there's something hidden. I find a lot of hidden work, a lot of hidden things. For example, when I mentioned the entities this morning, when I asked, is there entities, I got the answer, no. When I asked, are there any hidden, because they do like to hide out, I got yes. So it's really important to ask the questions, because your subconscious could be not wanting you to go there, but when you start asking, then that's when they come forward. And And it's something that when you're meditating, perhaps, yes, absolutely. I mean, I believe in a variety of work. It's just not this. It could be like the Reiki, it could be the meditations. There's so many, hundreds of tools out there. So there's a lot of different tools that we can tap into, but by learning to muscle test, it is very, very empowering. When you can find out exactly what that is, and then you go the process of releasing, it's something you need to experience. I can talk about this and people might wonder, but honestly, it's something that you have to experience for yourself and notice the difference. A lot of the time when people are releasing energy, they're feeling lighter, they can feel energy moving. I get this a lot. They might feel hot or cold. It's all energies moving. I mean, we feel energies all the time. There could be something that's happening, an attack, some part in the world, and perhaps at that time you weren't even aware of it. You didn't know about it, but you're feeling kind of off. We're all energetically connected. So whatever's happening across the world, because we are all connected, it affects us. So the more we can be proactive and like, okay, I want to learn about this. I want to do it for myself. I want to help, I want to help myself. I want to help my family. I want to help my relatives. Then, go for it, because the tools are there. There's so many of us out there to help out. You don't have to be alone. And I work in my little office here, and I work throughout the world. So it could be the UK, it could be Australia, New Zealand, United States. It really doesn't matter, because we're all connected. So I'm testing what exactly that is.
Yeah, and you can do this. And you can do this all through Skype as well. But basically, you call yourself as well an intuitive healer as well. I think I've got the words right there. So when a client comes to see you, again, intuitively, once you've sort of had a session with them, they maybe even before, you would be able to tune in and really see what their deeper issue or the underlying issue might be.
Well, as an intuitive healer that encompasses many different modalities, I'm a medical intuitive. So what I can do is tune in. So I can test your pH level. I can test if you have any imbalanced organs and glands. They're just not happy. Any imbalanced organs and glands prior. And so there's a lot of things that we can check. The percentage your immune system is functioning at. And then when I get on with the person on Skype, what's so wonderful about Skype is that I can open up the file and you can see what I'm doing. So it's a whole learning process in itself. It doesn't have to be that way, but it definitely can. People really enjoy that because they're learning and they're watching as I'm checking, okay, what's related here? Is there a misalignment? If so, what vertebrae? What vertebrae is causing you an issue? Is it the meridian within your body related to the meridian, and then an organ that's causing an issue? So there's so many different areas that you can check on. Emotional. Is there some type of emotional issue that's creating havoc today? Is it a heart wall emotion that's creating issues? Is it some type of supplements that you're taking that perhaps are creating issues for you, some type of where you're not feeling well and you're not aware of it? So that whole muscle testing is very, very important. When you learn how to muscle test, you can actually just pick up that bottle or pick up that type, the food that you're not too sure about, and then do the sway testing, as that's one example of muscle testing, and find out if this is good for you or not. So there's a lot of areas that I can look at. So as a medical intuitive, if I need to do some EFT, if I need to do some, checking at a soul level, whatever comes up. And honestly, it's not me. I'm the vessel. And that's for all of us. There's higher powers working here. A lot with the angels is like, I'm calling them in to help me out. And I'm, again, the vessel. So There's all of the physical side that we can look at. There's the whole abundance side. That's a big topic today. If there's any negative beliefs that are holding you back from not having a healthy body or abundance of finances, what does the abundance of finances mean to you? So there's the abundance covers off all areas, and abundance of good heart vibrations. So there's a whole array of where a person can go, and it's whatever, their issues that are coming up. But again, it's very important to get very clear at the beginning and get that protection of however you want to bring that in. Get the protection in, find out if there's any offensive energies in the way, and then we can do our work.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and you mentioned there as well that it's not just you at play here. There's you've got, as you've mentioned, angels and your higher self and other entities that are there.
Absolutely.
That you probably we use word. I mean, for example, angels. I mean, that's a word for them. That's probably not even what they are, right? It's just the word we associate. But you're working with these other beings, to help in the healing.
Yes, and beings from this planet or perhaps not this planet, So, yes, at many different levels.
Yeah.
And you're just calling in, intuiting what that information is. We're getting a lot of help right now on Earth. I think we're getting a lot of ascension that's occurring. So, the help is there. We just have to connect as to what it is that we need assistance with, and let it go. Let it go. Ask God. Please help me. And if it's our angels or guides or whoever comes through, it resonates for you, then so be it. And just letting go. Letting go is the big one. We all need to let go, and that's hard. It's hard when you're hit with a health crisis or within a financial crisis to let go and listen to that intuition. Listen to the heart, because the heart is the gateway to God. It really is.
Yeah, but I suppose it's also a balance as well of listening to, you've got your, your rational side, and then you've got your intuitive side, and it's balancing the both out rather than just going into one or the other. I mean, that's the way I normally do it. I mean, I would never not use my intuitive side, because that's the side that's the only way to happiness. But it is balanced with mind as well.
Yes. It is. Well, I think that's where we need to get to our quiet place. If you're not too sure, okay, who's really talking here? Is it my ego? Or am I really getting guided from whatever source, from God, from the angels? Am I getting guided? Like, what is that? So I think that's where we need just to step outside. And one of the best things we can do, it honestly works so well, is just step outside into nature. So if you're feeling kind of confused about it all and you're just not too sure, go outside for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just get connected to the earth. And one thing that's really good to do is called earthing. And you may know about it. Maybe a lot of the listeners do. But if you happen to be in the part of the world that doesn't have any snow right now, you can just plant your bare feet right on the earth. And you can just feel those vibrations coming through. Just give it about 10 minutes. And just notice how much better you're feeling. Again, those are all energies, and it's getting us connected again. And it's when you're in that time of real true connection that those messages that you're just not too sure, is this really, am I making this up, or am I really getting those intuitive hits? Then it'll be much clearer for you. And the more that you do this, the more confidence that you'll gain. And the more confidence that you gain, the more you'll apt to want to do your own work. So when somebody works with me, I really, truly want to get you going. It's not that, okay, I'm going to have you coming to me for the next, year. That's not my role. My role is to teach and to guide and to clear issues that might be blocking you from doing the work, and then teaching the person, okay, I'm going to work with some methods. And for example, this is one here. It's called the emotion code chart, and that's what I'll be teaching people. Like, you can do this. You're going to find out exactly what it is. So when I'm working with a person, I'm going to have them test. We don't do it at the same time because then you're just going to get kind of muddled. But I'm going to have them test and get them really confident, like, okay, yes, it is a trapped emotion of abandonment that I picked up that's, around my heart, that came in at 3 years of age. And for example, it may not even be my abandonment, but my mother was abandoned. I mean, all these things can be picked up. And so it's really interesting, fun work. It's not this labor intensive type of work, but it's interesting and you feel so much better, and people get so excited when they can take charge.
Absolutely, and this has become your purpose now, and we can all find our purpose. What would you say is one key thing for people as well, just to, in finding their purpose? What's one thing you've learned from all the clients that you've have come your way?
I think the major thing that I would say to people is that there's always something that you really, really enjoy doing, and you may not give very much value to it. Because it's so easy for you. So for example, being so intuitive is so easy for me that I discounted it. I'm thinking, well, everybody must be the same way. Everybody must be an empath, which I didn't know what the word was many years ago, but everybody must be an empath like me. Well, no, they're not. So it's whatever is really, really easy for you. Perhaps you're really, really good with numbers. Like you're just like a wizard with numbers. You love numbers, but that's not something that what you're doing. Well, let's find out what is it that you really, really love to do, and then work from that. And then find out what's blocking you from doing what you really, really love to do. Because it could be fear of not having the money, fear you're not good enough, fear nobody's ever going to come to you as a client. So let's discover what those fears are and release them, just the way that I was just doing here a few minutes ago, and really get you on your path. So it's whatever comes really, really naturally to you. Dancing, again, numbers, painting, carpentry, perhaps you love writing, whatever it is, then that is your path. And it could be those nudges from God, from the angels that are saying, this is it. This is it. This is your contribution to the world, is your writing, is your being a radio show host, as to whatever that is. And if it makes you feel light, your heart's not feeling heavy, but you're feeling light, then you know that you're on the path. Then it's a matter of, okay, let's find out what's blocking you from perhaps moving in that direction. Is there a heart wall? What is that's blocking you? And get rid of that depression and anxiety about moving in the path that you feel guided to, but you're just not positive or unsure of yourself.
Okay, but could you say that you could have multiple purposes, that it may not just be one for some people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll just give myself as an example. So I'm a speaker. Well, yeah, I love doing that. I also do my own radio shows where people call in and I do work on the spot monthly. So I love doing that. I love teaching. I love doing presentations. There's multi-purposes. It's just not one thing. But it's those multi-aspects that can really, when you hone it in, can really put you in that one direction. So it's good to have several things. It doesn't have to be just, okay, I'm an artist and that's all there is to it. An artist has so many attributes. There's so many things that comprise an artist. Their imagination, ability to do several things at one time. So, it's definitely just not one thing. And that's good. I mean, it's good that we have a variety of things that we're good at.
Yeah.
And then when you bring that all together, hone it in, that can be then flourishing into that direction that you need to be to contribute to yourself, to the world.
And if we're not too sure, if we really can't get into tune of what it is we'd really love to do, then maybe by just doing things and moving forward and doing some things that you think you would enjoy, it will all lead to the road that you need to be on, which is your maybe main purpose of being here. You know, you may not discover it straight away. That's what I'm saying. But not to do just nothing is not the way forward. You've got to see what still sparks you.
No, absolutely, that's true. I mean, I've started taking courses, so I don't know, maybe 15 years ago or so. I ended up having a session with a shaman. I didn't know, but I knew, okay, that's not quite my direction. So I was taking all these different courses. And then it's just that one, I don't know, I was on the computer one day and something popped up and I thought, well, that's interesting. So you don't know, but don't stop. So just because nothing's really happening doesn't mean the door's closed. Could be not the right time. So if it's not the right time, leave it alone and just keep moving, just alter course a bit, move in another direction. And if the door is opening, just one thing's leading to another, then you know, okay, this is it. But yes, don't give up. If it's your passion, keep pursuing, and one of those doors will open because you're being guided to open up that door.
Yeah.
So.
And sometimes when you're on that journey of not being too sure what it is that you're meant to, what is your purpose or why, you know, what is something that you'd love to do, you're doing the things that you enjoy, which is a great start. And actually doing these things, there's a lot of healing that takes place within there. You know, you may have a particular type of career right now that either you chose being self-employed in or you've gone to work for someone, but whatever it is, you've got this career because actually by doing what you're doing, it's healing an aspect of yourself that you needed to heal before you can get onto that defining purpose.
Absolutely. For example, I was in the oil and gas industry as a contract analyst. So I had this computer system. And, you know, my natural tendency is that I love to speak and to talk and to feel, but I had to become very analytical. And I'm dealing with legal terms. Believe me, that's not my strength, but it forced me to. So I learned all these skills on multitasking and linking, delinking on systems, and you know, I'm having to do a lot of work that didn't come easily. It was a struggle. And now that I've looked back in time, I'm going, thank goodness, because I was forced to work with these land systems and deal with multifaceted issues. That has made it easier for me to be an entrepreneur. So now, as an entrepreneur, I can learn how to do my own radio shows. It's like, okay, just click here, do this. Or I can learn these new systems that are out there because I'm used to that. So it's all these skills that were really challenged before I can see the value. So whatever you're doing now, you might think, oh, I hate this job. I don't know how I'm going to get out of it. Look at what those skills are giving you. If it's people skills, because you're having to deal with with people that come into the store, or if it's in the office, having to deal with your next door coworker who's a real pain in the butt, you know, whatever that is, you're constantly learning skills. So do not discount all those years because you're discounting yourself. Be very, very careful about that. So wherever you're at right now, just know that is a step. There is a greater purpose. If you're not getting joy from that, then start making the steps like you were saying, and start pursuing things that do make you happy. It may not be that instant, okay, that's it, now I'm going to jump into it and that's going to fulfill me. It could be several little steps, but you're making headway all the time. And that's what I've been doing over the last, 12 years or so. So it's it's exciting because
Okay.
as we get older, it's not this, aches and pains. And believe me, I've had my share. Rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia are not easy things to deal with. But I'm not on any medications. I'm living my life. And that's where I've been there, done that. And I just want people to be, don't give up. It may not be instantaneous, but every step that you've made to this point in your life is serving a purpose.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what would you say, just very briefly, because we're at the very top here? What would you say? First of all, as well, your ways to contact you, and then what would you say is an important message to the audience?
Well, you can contact me. I'll give you my website address. So remember, it's in Canada. So it's whisperingenergetic.ca. So whisperingenergetic.ca. You're also welcome to email me at lainofbrenda49@gmail.com. That's spelled LAINOFBRENDA, the number 4, the number 9 @gmail.com. And I wanted to give your guests a gift, Kevin. What I have, and all you have to do is just, email me. I'm going to send them a free 20-minute abundance mindset, and it's valued $70 Canadian. And just let me know. And with that, you're going to get also a little book here of 4 ways to help you move from a scarcity mindset to abundant mindset. So you get an ebook. And plus, you get this evaluation. So you're welcome to do that. And that's going to give you, a good sense. And you're welcome to ask any questions and whatever. So I'm pretty easygoing. I love to share this. So, yes.
Excellent.
So those are 2 ways. Okay.
Well, thank you for that. And just very quickly, what would you say is, like, to sum up, just an important message? We've got about a minute, or a couple of minutes, sorry.
An important message. I think that we all have a responsibility of helping others on earth. And we're going through very turmoil times. We all know that. And we're here on earth for a reason. And everybody has a role to play. And when you think of what gives you joy, then follow that. Perhaps you need to work at a hospice. Perhaps that gives you joy to help people transition. It doesn't matter what it is. Just know that you're being guided by a higher source, God, and to listen to that, and know that you have help. You're being helped in so many ways that you may not even be aware of. So again, just listen to your intuition. And if you find it hard to listen to that, then go outside into nature, get connected to the earth, and be silent. Allow those messages to come through. And again, just follow with what makes you feel good. And know that everyone here has a purpose. We all have a purpose, or else we wouldn't be here today on earth.
Well, Brenda Lainof, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed it, and thank you for the questions. And yes, if anybody has any questions for themselves, feel free to email me. As I say, I'm pretty easy to get in touch with, and I love to share. So take advantage of it. Why not? And get on your path.
Well, we've come to an end on tonight's show. Don't forget that you can listen and watch all our past interviews on the More Show's official YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new daily shows. You may also find out more on all past and upcoming guests on the show via themoreshow.com, and do like us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates. So until next time, be safe.